What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be giving our thoughts on Disney to invest $1 billion in OpenAI. I just wanted to kind of give you a little background how I got this news. I'm subscribed to Google News. So on my phone, when I woke up, I got a notification and it had to do with Sora and Disney. And I'm like, okay, this is very interesting. And I read from the Hollywood Reporter, Disney is investing $1 billion into OpenAI and signing a 3-year licensing partnership that lets OpenAI's Sora platform generate short videos using over 200 Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars characters. So we've done Sora videos here on the channel. We've done different videos in regards to showing you how to use it. So I think this is very interesting that Disney is allowing users to be able to use their characters, because as you know, whenever you try to type in a character, let's say it was Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker, it'll be basically an error. It just didn't allow you to do it, And we've seen the viral stuff like, Martin Luther King and all that jazz, on there, which I think it's like you can't do that anymore. It's like violating IP and intellectual rights. But I just think it's interesting that Disney is opening its doors open to, the use of AI in their tools, because now, who's to say that they don't do anything like negative with the characters, like the Disney princesses or the Star Wars characters. I'm just hoping that I'm hoping that there is some regulation, because I don't want it to be a situation where people ruin these things. And I think it's very interesting that it's only a 3-year partnership. So it seems like after those 3 years, they're going to kind of review whether or not, I'm assuming that this is worth it for Disney to be in partnership with AI. Now, I do believe that AI is the future. Of course, I got AI channel and, working with OpenAI, Sora, which, is the same people that do ChatGPT. I think that is a very beneficial thing. But because we're kind of still in the early stages and in the wild, wild west, it's like, okay, what is this? What does this mean? What is it? What is the rules? How can this benefit, characters? And I think it's a very interesting thing. So one thing to also note is Disney is also suing, I believe, Google for copy infringement. Let me make sure I get this exactly right. Disney is signing deals where gets paid to license characters while simultaneously accusing other AI companies of massive copyright infringement. The question is this just economics, or are there deeper legal and ethical norms shifting? Now, a lot of my friends that I consider, friends, they send me articles, because not a lot of my friends are not into AI the way I'm into it. Of course, I'm a photographer, videographer. I'm a little bit more technologically progressive. So a lot of friends that aren't technologically progressive, that's not photographers, videographers, creatives, they don't like AI. So they'll send me articles about how Midjourney is being sued, or Runway is being sued, or these different companies being sued, AI companies being sued. But I always, in the back of my mind, my response to it was, they're probably just suing them just so that they could get stake in the company, just so that they could get paid for it. They're not going to shut down these AI companies. They're just trying to find a way to work with these AI companies. And that's how I always viewed things. Somebody was looking into my photography studio just now. People think it's a business, like it's an open business where you can just walk right in. You can't, bro. So I always thought that Disney was not suing to shut it down, but suing in a way to being like, okay, I want stake in this, probably majority stake in this, so that way you guys aren't just using our characters, our IP, intellectual property for free. And I think that's justified. Why are these AI companies using intellectual properties without permission first? That's another question. I personally think that they're trying to prove that AI is the future, AI works, and they're kind of like asking for permission later versus asking for permission up front, because they know that eventually the big companies are going to come for them, but will come for them to work with them and further sustain their business. So let's kind of keep it going here. I took a couple of notes. Does AI storytelling actually democratize creativity, or does it cheapen the craft? Does it cheapen like these historic characters by giving everyone access to it? I think it does cheapen it just a little bit, because it does allow everybody or anybody to do whatever they like to do with it. But I also say, so what? I do think the cream is gonna rise to the top. I think, there's this term AI slop. I think AI slop is inevitable because there's photography slop, there's graphic design slop. It was a point where Canva was looked at very, very, like, was looked down upon traditional graphic design artists. But now, like, the mainstream or the common everyday mom pop person is using Canva because Photoshop and Illustrator was just too technical for them, and to be able to design an ebook in Canva instead of having to use Adobe InDesign was just way more practical for them. And I think Canva is like $10 a month versus like Photoshop. Other stuff is like $60 a month, $30, $40 a month. So, you have to learn the tool just to be able to use it versus Canva. You have to actually, what I'm saying? Like, the templates are just there. So I say all that to say that, yes, it cheapens it because it gives it access to everybody. But I think what it also is going to do is it's going to make AI a lot more culturally acceptable. And I think the people that are really good at it, that really put a lot of time into it, their content is going to rise above everyone else that may just do it just for fun. And being able to use, Disney characters and Mickey Mouse, Iron Man, Grogu, the Mandalorian, and being able to tell your own cinematic stories, I think that's amazing. I mean, I think that's like fantastic. A lot of times, the companies can't even satisfy, like, there isn't a world in which Disney can come out with enough TV shows or movies that's going to satisfy anyone that can simply just create the content that they want to see. Let me also add too. Disney may even feature user-generated Sora videos on Disney Plus, and I think that's even great because that gives an opportunity for people's creativity to stand out and above. Like, you could create your next generation of AI filmmakers, create a market for it. AI filmmakers, people can aspire to that, AI advertisers, in terms of just using these tools. So I think that's a great opportunity, because it says that, some of the videos are going to be on Disney Plus. Of course, they're could be on Disney Plus. Of course, they're going to figure out which ones are the best ones and are right for it. And I'm open to it because it creates jobs, it creates entrepreneurship, it creates opportunity for people. So I'm here for it. What does this mean for actors, artists, screenwriters, and other creatives? Voice likenesses aren't covered here, but characters are. Does this protect artists or signal that studios will lean harder on AI future productions? It's funny that a lot of people will they say they don't like AI because it takes like jobs away from people. I just feel like those very people that AI is quote unquote taking jobs from people, those same people can use AI to enhance their skills. So when it comes to voice likenesses, let's say you're a traditional voice actor, why not use a voice tool instead of waiting to be hired? You can use AI, something like 11 Labs, and you could lend your voice out so that way more people can use it versus just the casting agent from a particular company. When it comes to actors, you could use your own likeness and create your own stories now. So I think when it comes to AI and AI user generated thing, they always talk about how it's going to take jobs away from people, but they don't realize that it takes humans to be able to create the AI. And those very same people that is being told jobs are going to be taken away from them, they can now then create another revenue stream for them being to use their own likeness and their own skills to be able to further their own AI journey. And I think that's how we should be looking at it, is how can I use this as a tool for me versus this is something that's taken away from me. So is should big companies lead on AI regulation or just regulate it like tech? This is some notes I took. Is Disney's move responsible leadership or is it self-serving? What role should the government play in setting rules for generative AI? You know, it's weird, man, because I know for a fact that Disney creates a sound stage, has a sound stage, and then they shoot their entire films on those things. And they use, CGI to create things. You know, I'm at a loss as to how this is different, especially when the permission is granted to use the IP. You know, so I think any company is looking to maximize the profits. That's just business in general. So the fact that they can, let's say, create an AI generated film that's way cheaper than creating a traditional, let's say, film that a Toy Story, a Pixar film, if they were able to create it cheaper doing AI, I think as long as the quality is there, the storytelling is there, why not? Because we had 2D animation right before we had 3D animation. So if we go from 3D animation to AI generated, animation, we could still do 2D and 3D. It's just a different way of doing it. It's just about like the result of it. It's like if the result is good, then who cares how it was done? Because again, we watch computer generated stuff all the time in animated films, so whether it's 2D, whether it's 3D, whether it's a person that's sketched every frame or it's a person that 3D animated every frame, all it is this the stuff is just getting easier. So I don't see a problem with it. How will audiences react? Will fans celebrate being able to play with iconic characters in new ways? Or will there be a backlash from people who see it as AI slop, diluting beloved franchises? Already rumblings online reflect both enthusiasm and fear. I think no matter what you do, there's going to be fear and there's going to be backlash. I think you create and you innovate based off of the possibilities instead of the pessimists. And eventually those pessimists, again, with my example with Canva, with my example, even with, Final Cut, Final Cut Pro is an editing app, right? It's an editing app to put together your videos. Final Cut X was the version where they basically made it so simple that anybody can use. And guess what? A lot of editors were upset about that. But guess what now? 10 years later, 15 years later, nobody even says anything about it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you created the content. It's about what the result of the content is. Is it good or is it not? What's the worst case scenario and the best case scenario? Imagine where this could go if AI becomes a core part of storytelling versus where it could go if misused, deepfakes, or copyright take over. Now, this is where I'll be a little bit more on the other side with it. Do I want to see images of people being misrepresented? Uh, no, I don't. I don't want to see things that are unethical. I don't want to see, these things where it's like toxic or it's presenting people to do things that they would themselves never would do. I don't want that. And I do think there should be regulation if that's the case. And maybe hopefully these AI platforms can, regulate these things. I think there's going to be a lot of misuse slip through, because I think it's impossible to be able to, especially when you give the tools in the hands of the entire world, that everybody's just going to act responsibly. But I think you take the good with the bad, and I think there's more good in innovation than there is going to be bad. So that's my my perspective. So those are my overall thoughts on the Disney investing $1 billion into OpenAI, 3-year partnership, the opportunities to be able to use Disney characters, Marvel, Pixar, basically all the stuff that they have. I hope open other studios, and I think other studios will follow suit. I'm really excited to see what comes out of it. I especially with the opportunity to be able to have your content featured on Disney Plus. I think that's great. I think what we're creating is a user generated economy, a user generated AI economy, because even though what we see is AI, it's still created by us. It's still our storytelling. It's still our work. So, and I think even for the actors and the screenwriters and the filmmakers that may be a little bit more pessimistic about this, I feel like they can use these tools too to be able to tell even greater stories. Maybe the editor can make something that's AI generated, edit it to perfection, or maybe they can a voice actor can use their own voice instead of using, something like 11 Labs, or a filmmaker. The way filmmakers think can be way more storytelling using AI than anybody else that's just picking up for the first time. So I'm very much positive about the opportunities for it. And that's why I have this channel, because I want to teach people how to use these tools. And, just overall, I wanted to give my thoughts on this topic. And yeah. But until next time, y'all, make sure y'all check out some YouTube videos. Till next time, y'all. Peace.